Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 76.
77. We had Soldier 76
77,
last
Yeah,
time.
we did
Sponsored-
have Soldier 76.
Sponsored, in fact, this week by the hot new movie in theaters, Godzilla,
Yeah, if
King of the
only.
Monsters.
Damn it.
Sadly, not
Please.
actually sponsored, but God, I wish that was our first.
If you're out there listening, though, we're looking for that sponsorship spot.
Please, who made that movie? Shit, I don't even remember.
Wasn't it like? No, I don't want to.
Who cares, man? Whatever. It's got giant monsters. Just go see
Who
it.
made it? Who made it? That's a good question.
Well,
Wasn't Legendary Pictures?
Yeah,
On
it's
his-
legendary. That's what it was.
on his left, it's just Tyler.
And on my right,
It's Friedman, also known as Andrew, mostly known as Friedman.
all
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into this. Not a lot this week. We're not doing a topic. It's allergy season. Everyone's tired and dying, and we had a long weekend, as we'll get to later on in the cast. But there
Also,
are
I didn't think we were actually starting,
what
so I'm still like playing Gungeon.
you said.
Oh,
it
you
was
thought we were
fine.
joke starting. All right, well, we're live.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Who the fuck
shoot.
cares? You can talk about this anyway. So
That is true.
one of the
Yeah,
biggest
so-
trailers in a while dropped the other day, just before E3.
Yes, I think it was last Wednesday, so it was right before we all left. This came out.
Yes, we
like,
talked about the night before you guys came out here.
I think it was actually at lunchtime because I skipped. So I skipped. I'd usually watch Shield Hero on Wednesdays during lunch, but instead I saw Death Stranding trailer. I'm like, oh boy, we gotta watch this.
Yo, the Death Stranding trailer though.
So I went into the trailer going, oh man, I hope they show off gameplay. And I exited the trailer going, I'm not sure if I saw gameplay. Don't get me wrong, there was gameplay in there. I'm just not sure what I saw.
Can I just say
You
real quick?
saw-
Speaking of
What?
Death Stranding, apparently Kojima just tweeted like over the weekend that he actually also saw Godzilla in IMAX and said it was and seemed to say it was pretty good.
Yeah, because he's a Godzilla nerd too, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm
He's a
not
nerd
surprised.
about a lot of shit, which is what comes up in Death Stranding a lot.
Hell yeah. But this game looks like it has an all-star cast. It
Yeah,
What
looks,
cost more, these actors or the whole game?
dude, the talent that they got for this what's it called for this game is like a stat. Like I didn't even know half these people were gonna be in there.
Nope.
Like Michael Mads, not Michael Madsen, Mads Mikkelsen.
There you go.
They've done a real good job of not telling us anything,
Yep.
including the cast up till now. So this is a huge
Like
surprise.
Mads, Norman, Guillermo's in it.
Yeah, Guillermo's actually in
Troy
it.
Baker. At least a few others I don't remember. I only saw the trailer the one time late on Wednesday night, so I don't remember it that well. Or I don't remember many of the people because I don't know who they are.
I
still
have
wanna know
rewatched
what
some
the
people
deal is with the
discussing it.
baby.
What?
I'm still convinced it's if you die, the baby takes your place.
I'm
Uh,
also
I-
convinced, but I feel like that's wrong.
Nah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure you go to if you die, you go to like the ghost realm where the baby is the key to get out.
You think so?
That
You
makes
think-
more
is
sense
that-
to me.
Yo, taking bets right here, everybody.
The
What
real
do you
question is-
think the deal is with the baby?
And what does the thumbs up really mean?
What does the thumbs up really mean?
The thumbs up.
Does it mean stay?
The,
yeah,
the
what
very first time we
baby-
saw the baby, it like zooms into his like ear or some shit, and you see the baby inside, and he just gives a thumbs up, and the camera
Oh,
zooms
weird.
out. Yes, very weird.
I don't know. I was just listening to one of my podcasts earlier, and they seem to watch the trailer a lot more than I ever did. And apparently, there's a Japanese trailer with 35 seconds more footage.
35
That's
seconds.
like the most nerd shit possible.
Well, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying, because apparently there's like the baby's eyes change when you go into the ghost realm and all this other shit, and it's like,
Oh shit.
and like Death Stranding, like, hey, maybe Death strands you, or like there's ghosts and shit, and people, I don't know.
Well, yeah, clearly there's some weird ghost stuff.
Honestly, look, I think this is exciting because this is a Kojima game, and it's always a big deal when he puts
And
out.
Guillermo del Toro's working on it.
But like, I don't.
Have you
super
not seen
care.
his movies?
I saw Pan's Labyrinth.
That's it.
I saw Pacific Rim.
I don't count
I think
that.
that was it.
That wasn't like
Can't
a
remember.
real like. See,
Don't
the one
worry.
with Tom Hiddleston, whatever that one. That I like that one. That was creepy.
I don't even. Maybe I have. I just don't remember.
No, you haven't seen it, but Val and Leslie did.
Well, of course they did. I saw Hellboy. Hellboy was good.
Hellboy. Yeah, I didn't see Golden Army, but I liked Hellboy a lot.
I mean, Hellboy, Golden Army. I've wanted to on and off. I've wanted to watch Golden Army again. I watched it once, such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he made that
I
weird
don't know.
Shape of Water. I
Guillermo
don't know.
del Toro's into some cool stuff.
Oh,
Made some
Crimson
cool
Peak.
stuff.
Sorry,
Crimson
that's the Tom
Peak.
Hiddleston movie. Val did make me watch that, and it was like,
Yeah, because it's got
Okay.
Tom Hiddleston ass, and
Yeah,
I
exactly.
warned her. I warned you.
yeah, I knew what I was getting into. I don't have a choice in the matter.
You
I don't get
do.
to be like, well, I'm not really into this, so let's not
Actually,
watch
it's
this.
fine because it was a good movie anyway. So
It was okay. It was all right. Anyway, Death Stranding. You guys
Yeah,
are
we'll-
excited.
Standing.
We'll know more.
Standing. Wait,
That's
no,
it.
it's straight. You piece of shit.
We'll know more in November because they announced the release date. I think it's like November 9th or something.
There's something like that. I
Get
don't know.
your
I'm gonna ask for it
pre-orders
for my
on with your
birthday.
baby.
Yeah, my baby. I'm not buying that $200 pre-order.
No, fuck that. I don't actually want to own that thing. It's super creepy.
Oh, you know, you guys say that. That's probably gonna be one of the best-selling collector's editions ever. Like, ooh, cool.
It may be, but I don't want that thing. It's
No,
super
I know,
creepy.
I know,
but I
but I'm
don't
saying
want it.
like, there's lots of people who are like, oh, this is just stupid, like metal case for this game. Who cares? And then it's like, oh, fucking creepy ass baby, hell yeah.
Well, my problem is if I buy this damn thing, and the game actually turns out to be bad.
Oh, then you're.
Then you don't
That is
want
the
that
Then
thing
you
to
can
remind you.
beat the
Talent.
baby.
Yeah, right. Like straight up, like that's gonna be some Duke Nukem Forever shit.
Well, it's not gonna be that bad. Come on,
Oh, is that
Tyler.
right? It's not gonna be that bad.
Let's
There's
go.
a chance it could be bad.
So there's a chance.
I mean,
We
We're,
literally
like-
don't know what this game is.
I mean, from what I've heard, Metal Gear Solid 5 like starts really strong and has really, really strong bits and isn't an even experience the whole way through. Is Metal Gear Solid
well-
5 uneven?
Sort
No.
of.
What I think is good. It gets a little weird.
I've heard
It definitely
that the
felt like it's
ending
missing. It's
goes-
missing an extra third of the game.
Wow.
You think so? I didn't think so.
Like it felt like it needed something else there.
I felt like the game wasn't even needed.
Oh no, it wasn't.
But
Not at all.
well, I mean, it's true. Like it literally felt like just a supplemental game. It only filled one gap, really, because there's kind of like a weird gap where it's like, oh well, this doesn't make sense if this big boss is over here doing this stuff with the the Nintendo games, because people forget about the Nintendo games existing.
The
No,
original,
what
the
what
OG
happened
Metal
here
Gear.
was Kojima finishes Metal Gear Solid 4. He does Peace Walker because they need shit for the PSP. He does Rising Revengeance because he fucking loves Ryan, and then he's like, I'm gonna stop here. And then Konami's like, all right, hold up. Either you make something else, or we're gonna release this shitty zombie arcade game called Metal Gear Survive. And Kojima says no, anything but that. And then he goes and he makes Metal Gear Solid 5, gets in a huge fight, quits, and they make Metal Gear Survive anyway. And that's my theory about the current timeline.
But he came out and said that he wanted an open world Metal Gear Solid game.
Okay, my timeline theory has clearly just been debunked.
I could find it somewhere. I don't know.
All right,
he did
let's
say
move
that.
on.
Yeah, let's move on to happier
we'll get
times.
this again when they release another trailer. So tomorrow at I think it's 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's gonna be like 9 a.m. for us in the East
Oh,
Coast.
just as at work time.
Yeah, like just before my Scrum call tomorrow, with the Pokemon Direct starts, we get 15 minutes of new information about Pokemon Sun and Moon. The bets are on for what they're going to talk about. My current bet is the safe bet is they're going to show off the rival character, some of the dummy Pokemon you run into on Route 1, like the Pidgey and the Rattata of this game. What my stretch thing they're going to show off is, or no, sorry, not the stretch. Also the legendaries that are on like the box of the game, they're probably going to get shown off. But my stretch thing that I want them to show off is what's the deal with the gyms? Because it sounds like from the first trailer you see the main character like running through what looks like a soccer stadium, or for those outside the U.S., a football field. And people speculate that they're not actually bringing back gyms, but there's going to be these like sports challenges, and I just want to know what the fuck they're thinking. So I'm hoping they show off more of that.
When are they coming out again? Does anyone know?
there's no
Pokemon games almost always come out in like October.
Q4.
So what you're telling me is there's going to be another direct about what this info is, because there's no way you're going to get to find that out this time.
There might not be another direct. So for the hype cycles for Sun, Ultra Sun, and also X and Y, even though they had directs, what they do is it was like every Monday they would have like a 30-second teaser posted to the Pokemon YouTube page where it just like showed off something new. Like that was where they showed off like mega evolutions for individual Pokemon who were getting added.
Can I just ask, what would be? Do you think there's ever a time where they go, we're making a new Pokemon generation game, but we're not using new Pokemon? Is that even possible?
So they're trending towards that because they really don't want to be more than 1,000 Pokemon.
That seems like a terrible number to break.
So I mean,
All right,
here's
I'm gonna
the
let
thing
you know
though.
right now. 1,000
you have
is already
to.
a terrible number.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we at
It's
right
too
now,
many.
Freeman?
Well, hold on, but here's the thing though. You have to keep adding new Pokemon or it doesn't stay interesting.
That's not true.
That is 100%.
I
true.
think you could do at least one generation that's literally all remix. Just take every
X and Y was a majority old Pokemon. They only added 60 new Pokemon in X and Y.
Perfect. I should
It
go
was
play
not
X and
perfect.
Y.
Fans didn't like it.
Well, fans
Well,
are.
I liked it.
Well,
I know you liked it, but Nintendo's not a company that makes things people like. Nintendo's a thing that makes money.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know if I
Nintendo
agree
does
with
Oh,
whatever
sorry.
they
I'll
want.
reiterate. The Pokemon Company
Okay,
is a company that makes money.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's why
yeah,
Pokemon
yeah.
Sleep is a thing.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, what?
So they had a big announcement last week that they're expanding the Pokemon Go ecosystem. So now there's going to be a single app used for moving Pokemon between your Switch games, Pokemon Go, and then what used to be Pokemon Bank on the 3DS. There's a single app for that. In addition, there's a suite of other game-related Pokemon mobile games that are being released, including Pokemon Sleep, which they didn't go into any real details of. But let me pull up what else they brought.
Can I just ask, are you losing all your bank data for this new app? Or are they actually going to transfer it over?
I'm assuming it's like you move it forward in one direction. So the idea would be that Pokemon Bank exists for transferring between generations 5, 6, and 7, and then the new app is going to be push everything into Gen 8, which is the new one.
It just sounds so awful.
All right, Wikipedia doesn't have an official article for Pokemon Sleep,
That seems
but it is a
crazy.
real thing.
Are you sure you didn't come up with this in a fever dream over the weekend when we were?
Yeah, when you
guys
No,
were
because
drunk and
there's-
barely sleeping.
No, because there's way too many memes about it. It's if you
It's
Google
way
it,
too many
it's a real
memes for
thing.
it to be not fake.
It's a real thing. Like we can't all keep memeing about a fictional game this hard. But sorry, but to answer your original question, I'm personally fine with them having a game where it's just new Pokemon in different spots. That was the one thing that made Ultra
Old
Sun good
Pokemon
for me
different
was they
spots, I
brought
mean.
back a ton of old Pokemon earlier in the game. Like being able to actually run through the game after the second like gym with a Larvitar was really cool because until now he's only been available like in the post game.
But
that was cool.
Okay, so you
but-
said X and Y people didn't like it because there was only 60 new Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Was that the reason people didn't like it, or was that just a thing?
I'll tell you why
said?
the people didn't like X and Y.
Okay.
No,
Go
they
ahead.
liked it, but they didn't like Friends. Friends was gay.
What?
Oh, so
Instead
X
of
and-
rivals, you had friends.
Oh,
X and
fuck
Y
off.
was unique in that you had a group of friends you were traveling with, and I like that aspect of it. The problem was there was no good antagonist. The actual villain of the game sucked, and you didn't have your nice asshole rival to shore up any of the
You
issues.
nice asshole.
Now wait a cotton pick a minute. You're telling me you like that whole friend thing?
Yeah, it reminded me. So here's the thing:
Sounds like
I-
what we
they
would all
were-
do
they
if
were
we all
going
Pokemon
for-
trained.
they were going for the Gen 1 nostalgia trip. That's why they put
Of
mostly.
course.
They put not only did they mostly put old Pokemon, it was mostly Pokemon from Red and Blue, but the feeling of traveling from like gym to gym with your friends reminded me a lot of the Ash Misty Brock dynamic,
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
which I enjoyed.
that's not even Gen
That
1.
said-
That's the anime.
That said, the friends were a little too much.
Nah, I hated them, man.
Your rival was too bland because they didn't want to give him a character. They fixed that when they did the Ruby Sapphire remake. But the problem was Shauna was way
What?
too happy about just making memories and everything's nice. I like breakdancing, dude. He had nice character, and the other kid who just every time you beat him, he just got really depressed, and I resonated with him. So those
And I
two were
hated
fine.
that shit. I hated that.
Oh, you didn't like that kid?
I hated all of them. I hated them. I was like, I want to be mad at all these people. Where's Blue? I want to feel sweaty again.
Where's Blue?
The white hot rage of
So-
smell you later.
Freeman can actually attest that I was actually looking into getting either Heart Gold or Soul Silver on my 3DS, only to find that that's impossible.
Yo, wait, I got you, dude.
What?
I got you.
Huh.
Yo, Soldier Boy made a console that can play that game for you if you want.
Yes. No, I'm saying I got coincidentally a pink DS with a copy of Heart Gold, which I already, took all the good Pokemon off of.
Wait a minute.
What?
You have a pink DS?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Lost and found.
Oh,
Okay,
there you
alright.
go.
Yeah.
You
There
already
you go.
traded the Pokemon
that's
off
his
of the
excuse.
lost version of Gold.
Yeah, no. That was mine. No, the Heart Gold
Oh.
is mine. I bought that.
Okay.
The
But you-
DS was not mine. Some
Wow.
poor
Found
little girl probably.
Look, all I know
crying
is
over it,
I'm
it's
fucking
mine now.
sad because I can go on the store and buy Gold and Silver, but I don't want to. I want to
Yeah, you don't
play
want
the...
to play original Gold and Silver.
I want to play
Anyone
Heart
who
Gold,
goes
Soul
back and
Silver.
tells me the old games are better, all I'm going to say is, hey, remember when you used to have to save the game to change the box your Pokemon is in?
Yeah. Look, I get it.
Yeah.
I've
That's-
come around because the whole reason Val bought me the 3DS, and I'm so depressed because the first birthday
wait,
of
you
mine
have a
we were together.
3DS?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh,
That's what the
Yeah,
problem
then
is.
I'll just send you a Heart Gold then.
I can't. Is there a DS slot? Does it work?
It's the same
Yeah, it
card.
works.
Yeah, it's the same card
Oh
slot.
no! Then I'll just
Yeah.
fucking buy it. I thought because it wasn't on the eShop, and
No,
Freeman's
no,
like,
no,
"Oh, you
yeah,
could
you can
hack
buy
that
that.
shit." I'm like, "Does that mean I can't
No.
play it?"
Listeners, I don't recommend hacking your 3DS. It's very
No,
risky.
you told
but-
me not to do it, but I thought the way
Yeah,
you
But
you'll
said
blow
it.
yeah, no, you can play DS carts if you have them.
Oh.
Yeah.
You made it
that's,
sound like
today you
those were
learned.
like a certain type of cart that I couldn't fucking
Nah.
play on my 3DS.
I
And
was
that's
talking
what-
about the R4s, like the fake DS cartridges. No, you can't use them because the 3DS software will detect it and brick your unit.
All right, so
But
here's
if you
the
play a
question.
legitimate DS game, it'll run just fine.
What the? So I just went on Amazon and Heart Gold is $300.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a collector's item.
Are you
Wait,
fuck-
I could sell this for
fucking
$300?
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so here's the thing about Heart Gold and
real?
Soul Silver. It is like the best Pokemon game, but it was sold during probably one of Pokemon's biggest downturns. Was like right after the
What?
Diamond Pearl era ended, Pokemon started trending down. So less people bought Gold and Silver, even less people bought Black and White. So Gold and Silver was
Nice.
under purchased for the later, when Pokemon boomed again when X and Y came out. Everyone bought up Gold and Silver, and there just aren't enough carts out there because people
Oh
never
my
trade those
god.
in.
What
They're
the
super
hell?
expensive.
Oh, this is incredible. Wait, no, I found one for $30.
Where?
Yeah, they probably have legitimate ones on eBay for pretty cheap. It's
Oh,
just
wait, are you
Amazon
saying
doesn't have
on
them.
Amazon?
Yeah, just the card. No, on the here. Hold on. I'll send you.
Holy
the
shit! Amazon's cheapest used is $99.
It's $20 on eBay.
I see. Okay, so you do that,
See,
but
look,
on eBay it
look,
says they're
see,
reproduction
Amazon.
carts.
Amazon.
Amazon. Okay. Where the fuck is this? Where was this?
This was on Amazon.
Dude,
you
I'm telling you,
idiot.
on my screen, Amazon is up, and it says 300 slash.
Did you
Nice.
click my link?
I am at your link, and now I'm like, I don't understand where this came from.
You can get
Oh,
Soul
wait.
Silver for $75.
Oh wait, no.
That's the limited
Wait,
edition with the
hold
Poké
up.
Walker.
This $30.99 one is sketch. You don't want that. Never mind.
Yeah,
You don't
2
want
Point-
stars,
point-
0% positive.
that. Yeah, you
Oof.
don't want that. You don't want that.
Point is, you can find it places it may be
my
a little
God.
more expensive for a legitimate copy.
This fucking
Yeah.
blows chunks. All I want to do is play this one.
I'll send it to you. Chill
Tyler,
out.
you're throwing away like $1 million here. Very
Clearly,
Nah, he's gonna get it back from you at some point.
That's
if I
very
don't get
true.
this back from you, I'm gonna take it out.
I
of
mean, if
your-
you're willing to lend it to me, then I don't give a shit. That's fine. I'll
Yeah,
do that.
No, I'm not giving it to you. I'm lending it to you, dude.
That's fine.
Anyway, to
Yeah.
answer your
I'm very
original
sad
question,
we didn't have this conversation a week ago before you guys came out here.
Yeah, well, that's what the mail is for.
that's what happens when we skip the podcast on Tuesdays because of me. Anyway,
Well, that's what
But to
happens when I
answer-
get tricked into thinking I have to brick my DS to play this fucking game.
to answer your original question, so much of the Nintendo hype cycle has to do with showing off the new Pokemon that they can't. They cannot do a game with no new Pokemon unless it's like a remake.
Yeah, but what about a game where you just have more megas?
They already said they're not doing new megas
Yeah,
Good, because apparently
because it's
Megas
a
are the
power
worst.
creep problem.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it
sure
already
not
is
doing.
a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the game has to have a system for megas to work, but won't have a new one? That sounds like a
Welcome to
guaranteed system.
Pokemon. Every generation has to support the unique quirks of the previous one. Like in Gen 3 when they added Deoxys, who had a different form depending on which game he's in. They need to add items somewhere in the game so you can change the Deoxys form. Same thing with Rotom. In Platinum, they added the ability to have Rotom transform into different like appliances in that game with different secondary stat. So now somewhere in the game there's a room that always has a washing machine, a refrigerator, a lawnmower, and a fan because that's the Rotom room.
Can I just
Somewhere
say,
there's gonna Go
apparently
ahead.
someone is selling on eBay copies of Gold, Heart Gold with all 493 level 100 shiny.
I mean, it's
That
really
seems
easy
real.
to do.
Fuck
It
you.
is easy to do.
What?
No.
Really?
I mean, like no. I mean, not legitimately. There's an app called PokeGen that makes it super easy to hack that on a legit card.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to
All
produce
right,
that
and
card
you
if
know
you
what?
have a real one.
Also, looking at these cartridges, everybody listening, if you got Pokemon games, save them because these things do not
They don't
depreciate.
depreciate. No, they're only going to go up from here.
Shit,
Well,
man.
until they get on the eShop.
I'm sitting on $100 right now.
Until
God
That's the
damn,
thing. They
at
still
least.
don't have a platform for releasing DS games. They don't even have a platform for releasing GameCube games.
Yeah.
So bad.
All
Anyway,
right,
Alright,
let's
move
get off of
on.
let's
Pokemon.
get off Pokemon.
I
My
was going to
desire
talk
to
about
play
last
an
week,
old
but
Pokemon game.
I had beaten
shit.
Life is Strange 2 episode 3. I think it was the weekend before, or sorry, 2 weekends ago. I'm in a weird spot with Life is Strange just because of how much I loved the first one. Last time I talked about Life is Strange, it was season 2 episode 2 was kind of really boring and I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, you've been on a downward trend.
Season 2 episode 3 is very weird because it takes place on this pot farm with a bunch of hippies, which is completely different than what the series has done so far. And I'm at the point where this episode was really well done, but it just hasn't captivated me. It's like the fact that Life is Strange season 1 was a single setting, it was high school, I could relate to it. This season is about being on the run from the police to try to find your family in Mexico and just jumping these large gaps of time between episodes. And it doesn't feel like a continuous story, and I have trouble connecting with each of the settings they go to. So again, I'm not digging it as much. It's definitely way better made. And with what happened at the end of episode 3, like I'm like genuinely curious what the fuck they're doing with episode 4, because it seems like they really can't make an episode 4 after where they went with the plot. So yeah, we'll find out in 2 more months because they're dragging this on. So, or not even 2, it's 3 more. So the end of August is when the next episode comes out, and the following one comes out I think November. So there's 2 months between each one, which is ridiculous because it used to be they came out every other month, and it sucks. Like
And
Life
it
is Strange 1
sucks.
came out over the course of less than 10 months. This one is going to take like a year and a half to release the same number of episodes.
Wow.
And I can't take this weight for a subpar product.
Yeah, you get damn
Maybe
for a
you
subpar.
do you think there's
Maybe
a point
just
where you
stop.
step out? Yeah.
No, so here's why I don't. They forced me to buy episodes 2 through 5 in a bundle, so I already have episodes 4 and 5 already paid for coming in because of that. So because of that, I am going to beat this season. But if I'm not satisfied, I'm not, buying in early on to season 3. They really got a lot of people pissed with making us buy 2 through 5 bundle to play any of those episodes, because it meant that you couldn't try it piecemeal or back out when you wanted. You had to just buy in, not really knowing what the game was going to be like. Because episode 1 of both seasons one is more indicative of what you're going to get overall, but both take big turns as the game goes on. So, like, I'm very mad that Square Enix is pulling this "you got to buy it all at once" model. Like, the whole idea of it is you can buy it as you go. If you don't want to like play past episode 2, you shouldn't have to pay for it. That was the advantage of episodic. Now it just sounds like you're buying a game and Square is just like, oh fuck it, we'll release it whenever we want to. And it's kind of shitty.
Definitely can understand that.
Yeah. All right, but that's all my bitching about Life is Strange 2. Let's
Hey, let's talk about Magic for a while.
talk about Magic the Gathering.
Now, before I say anything, Tyler, look. We talked about fucking Pokemon for over half of the runtime of this podcast so far.
Yeah,
We
and
can
you know
talk
what? We
about-
talked about Magic the Gathering for half of our podcast lifespan.
All right, hold. This is gonna be really fast. So Tyler, I'm gonna describe the first topic in a way that even you can understand. So
Okay.
so let's go back like
Okay.
2 years
All
ago.
right. I'll
I
I'll
see.
put away that I got fucking what's it called
Blasted.
whatever. Damn, I can't even
Put
talk.
on
All right,
blast.
Just keep...
so let's go back a couple years ago. The way it used to work in Magic is if you draw your first 7 cards and it's a shitty ass hand, what you did is you just threw it away and you shuffled up your library and you drew 6. And if that was good, whatever, you stuck with it, and that was it. And statistics showed that if you mulligan, you're more likely to lose. Just
Correct.
matter of fact, less cards equals less chance of winning. So a couple years ago,
Math
they
checks
introduced.
out, boys.
I think it was called the Vancouver Mulligan, and the idea was if you mulligan at all, so if you go down to 6, 5, or 4, whatever value, once you decide to keep that hand, you can then scry, which is look at the top card of your library and decide you want to leave it there or put it on the bottom, and it generally improved your odds of winning if you like it wasn't
Scry 1.
you didn't have
Sorry.
scry 1, you didn't have better odds over just keeping your 7, but it had better odds than if you didn't have the scry, so it helped out games where you'd have to keep a shitty mulligan and then nothing would happen. Prevent games like that from happening. The newest mulligan they've been trying out, the London Mulligan, is instead of like you start with your 7, you don't want it. Instead of drawing 6 and just keeping it trying, what you do is you draw 7, say, would I want to keep 6 of these, and then you put whatever you don't want on the bottom of your library.
Put one card. You put a card for each time you've mulliganed on the bottom. So if you mulligan twice, you draw your 7, then put 2 cards on the bottom and have a 5-card hand.
Yeah, especially when you get down to like the mulligan to 5. Mulligan to 5 is always the riskiest fucking thing you can do.
You're basically admitting if I drop to 4, I'm out of the game unless it's perfect. And
yeah, so being able to craft a semi-playable hand out of those 5 definitely makes it way more functional.
So, but side note, the reason that these all have city names, Tyler, is because they always try these rules out at usually like a Grand Prix or whatever big tournament they decide to launch these things at. And in this case, they tested out the, quote, London Mulligan rule a few months ago at a big tournament in London for the first time to the public. So that's why these all have city names that they, like Vancouver, there was a Paris.
I actually didn't know about that.
What?
The more you know.
Well, where did you think the name came from? We knew that it was getting tested in London.
I didn't think it was that Wizards chose like a GP test there, and that's when the names started. I thought the names were originally from something unrelated to Wizards, and that's why. Like, I don't know if there was.
I mean, people. There's no official name for Wizards. It's just we updated the rules in our rule book to say, hey, this is how mulligans work now. But for discussion's sake, people and Wizards, including their article that went up yesterday announcing this, say, hey, this is the London, quote-unquote, they put quotes on it, London Mulligan rule. But yeah, also, interestingly enough for us, Friedman, the Commander Rules Committee announced that they are officially implementing the London Mulligan after the free Mulligan.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. So the big thing about this Mulligan is that
it
leads to it being easy to assemble a combo if you're in a combo deck. That said, since it's singleton and a 99 card deck, it's way harder to do that with the number of mulligans.
We usually just do free mulligans anyway, but
yeah, I think the official stance is
still
if you're playing multiplayer, your first mulligan's free, and everything after that is London Mulligan.
Yep. Well, that's now the rule. But a lot of people were worried about this when it was first announced because they were like, "Oh my God, Modern and especially Legacy and Vintage are gonna die because you can craft a combo hand that wins the game on the spot." The thing is, you can also find your sideboard silver bullets a lot easier. Like having a ley line against Dredge and all that, yada yada. But overall, people seemed to like it when there was testing on Magic Online and there was testing in paper for a while, and people seemed to overall like the London Mulligan rule and say that it didn't totally break anything. And Wizards in their article yesterday was like, hey, we totally understand that there might need to be some bannings after this. We're going to be ready for it, but...
I mean, all the Tron players got real sweaty when they saw that one.
Yeah, because Tron fucking killed it at London when they tested this rule in Modern.
It wasn't that much better than it already was, but still. I mean, it's raising concerns.
So there might be changes across formats. Next banner restricted or next 1 or 2 is going to be very interesting to see how things shake out. The actual rule change officially happens on Arena even There's a test like this weekend actually, right? Of the London
I thought it
Mulligan
was.
Arena.
I thought it was only going live for all events when Core Set 2020 comes out this summer.
Well, no, there's a test on Arena.
I did not see that.
Oh, well, there's a test on Arena like right around now. I forget. I don't know.
They already patched it in a couple weeks ago. Whenever you mulligan it always said like there used to be the options mulligan and keep, and now it says mulligan keep 0.
So they're getting ready.
Yeah, so they were getting ready for the throwback 1 card. Or
but
whatever.
Yeah, this is.
Or sorry, keep 7 is what they were saying.
This rule is officially implemented when Core Set 2020 comes out in about. Oh my god, isn't it like a month and a half?
Yeah, there's nothing on the MTGA subreddit about a test for it. So
if you check the article, never mind. It's irrelevant. Although funny enough, Luigi just started playing Arena and was doing it earlier.
I know. Now he has to go through the new player struggle of not having wild cards.
Yep. But we do have other Magic news, but this is actually stuff Tyler can talk about because it's just kind of generally interesting. There has been rumors for years of a Magic the Gathering movie in the works, and I don't know if that's still the case, but today Wizards announced, or Netflix announced, everybody announced, and it wasn't today, it was yesterday, my bad. There is going to be a Netflix animated TV show. Freeman, I can hear myself.
All right, sorry. I
okay.
zoomed in close to the mic.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
There is going to be an animated Magic the Gathering Netflix show, 12 episodes. Executive producers are the Russo brothers of Endgame, and the animation studio worked on, oh god, a bunch of stuff, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One of the
they
writers,
did Rick and Morty. They
yeah.
did the Dragon Prince, which has me really concerned because it sounds like they're going to use that art style.
Oh no! How do you wait? Where'd you hear that?
I mean, what other art style they use? The last show,
Rick
the
and
last couple
Morty.
shows have used that they did Rick and Morty.
Well, you said yourself, and I remember
Yeah,
reading that they did Rick and Morty. That's a different art style.
I mean, are they? There's no way they're fucking doing Rick and Morty style
but
Magic the Gathering.
That's good. Why is Dragon Prince ugly?
So it's all in CG.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
And I don't like the frame rate on it, which is why I wrote in the show notes "chance of clang." Because
I mean, people like
Chance of clang.
Oh my god, people like the new TMNT show a lot, and I'm pretty sure they're doing that.
So TMNT had a smooth frame rate. I just didn't like how Dragon Prince
looked.
looked.
Fingers crossed. Apparently, this is a brand new story. One of the writers worked on Clone Wars or Rebels. I'm not sure which. Which, you know.
Jesus.
Overall, I mean, I'm honestly not super hyped for this. Only because
either.
So I have a weird reason though. Like, I watch Arena videos and stuff, and like in Arena, when you cast a legendary creature, there's usually a little animation, right, Freeman? It's like cool animations, just like Hearthstone. When you cast Planeswalkers, they actually have voiced lines. And there's only like 2 or 3, but they have them. And even that is already kind of like, you're basically already planting your flag as this is like Teferi's official voice forever now. And
I mean, they all have, like, they don't have the voice actors officially listed anywhere, but if you watch enough cartoons, you're able to tell who's who.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, like, do we need to go down the road of officially giving these characters personalities? Like, I know we
They
have,
do,
like,
though.
yeah, but we have, like, the written stories and everything, but it's kind of fun to have a lot of it pretty open-ended, like, in flavor text and, like, on the card. I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. Hearing a voice, all their lines are consistent with how their flavor text is written.
Sure. I'm not saying
like,
that. But this is going to be a 12-episode TV show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just not... It's apparently a brand new story, so we don't get to hear the Nicol Bolas saga or anything like that, which is a little disappointing.
Good. Nicol Bolas has the worst fucking voice in the universe.
Yeah.
That's not... Is that really the reason you wouldn't
He
want
has
to hear...
look. So
After that
watching,
trailer, you don't want to see that?
I was watching Day9 play Grixis Control for like 3 hours,
my
And
god.
there's also a bug in the game where anytime your opponent exiles a card, if a Planeswalker did it, the Planeswalker will play the voice line that they normally do when they're destroyed, which is supposed to have a fade out effect. So Nicol just screams, he screams, no! Every time you exile a card from your opponent's hand. And it's real fucking annoying. But I think Dana put it best that Nicol sounds like that dude who's trying to voice a villain in D&D in his first campaign, but he just uses the same voice for every villain.
Oh boy.
That's what Nicol sounds like.
Well, regardless, not counting how Nicol Bolas sounds. Jesus. I'm interested, but like all the artwork was of Chandra, and it's like
Yeah, she's gonna be the main character probably.
I don't know. I feel like this show can only be okay to disappointing.
I mean, I feel like it's not going to ruin the game. Worst
No,
case
not at
scenario,
all.
it just,
Not at
it
all.
just brings attention to the series, which is 100% the goal of it.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. Magic's high right now. Hey, let's do a Netflix show.
As long as
Finally
they
get
can keep
something.
Hasbro happy, then I'm
See,
fine.
that's the problem. Like, we'll get into it later, but that's kind of the problem with Godzilla. And part of the reason I'm going to pre-order that fucking Blu-ray as soon as it's available for pre-order. Jesus.
Jeez.
Anyway, we'll get to that later, though. But yeah, that's about it for Magic. The full set spoiler for Modern Horizons came out, but me and Freeman are going to do a Command to Me at some point in the near future anyway, so we'll probably
There's a lot
talk
of
about it
spicy
more
stuff
then.
in there.
Because there's a lot of shit we need to talk about. But hey, let's talk about some disappointment.
So this isn't all disappointment. The first couple ones I'm excited about for this, but Apple had one of their every year they do like two big conferences. One is their professional space one, and then another one is consumer electronics products. Like you'll get your iPad, MacBook refreshes later in the year, but in the middle of the year they always do some more technical stuff. So what they announced the other day, the first one was that they are finally splitting off iOS from the OS that iPad uses. They finally accepted that iPad needs to be like a very serious almost desktop replacement tablet interface, and it can't be locked into whatever they're trying to do on iOS specifically for their devices. Now that they've given up all buttons on the iPhone, things are starting to fork a little bit. When that happens, split your code base. And I'm happy about this. It means that we're going to have a varying experience on iOS versus iPad. For people who have a MacBook currently, and they keep bitching about like, why don't we get touchscreens? I can tell you right now, it's never going to fucking happen because now iPad is set with this OS swap. It's set to become this middle ground between an actual sit down work laptop space and your phone. It's really going to finally be there, not just be an oversized iPhone. So that's really cool. Next thing, Apple announced dark mode on all devices. With the last Mac update, they added dark mode for Mac, and it's really great. I don't personally use it because I think light mode isn't even that bright for most of their apps. But as a developer, I'm supposed to say light mode bad, dark mode good. So dark mode good.
Yeah, dark mode good.
And the next one, and this is always an interesting story. They finally decided that instead of having iTunes be the go-to media app for all Apple-related shit, they're finally splitting it off. So everything's gonna have their own apps. There's gonna be a podcast app that's only that, video, music, whatever. But they did say this is only on their Mac ecosystem, and iTunes is staying on Windows, which is weird because it's not a secret to anyone. iTunes is basically the big legacy app that Apple couldn't get rid of for the longest time. It started off as just a music playlist app. Then a store got slapped onto it when it wasn't made to handle a store. Then it started doing video, which again, it wasn't made to do because it's just an audio player. Then it just apps got thrown in there, and it's been getting bigger and bigger, and they were never able to go back and rewrite it. And I think they tried to with like iTunes 11, and shit got wonky. So iTunes has been like the big like, we don't touch that code. Don't anything the light touches we can edit, but don't go there. That's the dark place. Now iTunes has gone from Mac, which means that if you're on Windows, good luck. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with iTunes on Windows. And the last and probably biggest thing announced was the new Mac Pro. This was super duper overdue for an update, given they were charging like $4,000 for a computer that was super outdated up until a couple days ago. The new Mac Pro is, well, I'm just gonna put this right here. If you're a gamer, the Mac Pro is not for you. This is for like, you work at Pixar and you need to render your movies kind of shit. That said, it's very expensive. I don't recommend anyone purchase these. The big meme in the community right now is that they showed off the, what is it, 5K or 6K monitor that comes with it. And the monitor itself is $5,000. Then they showed your different mounting options, like $200 for a converter to like the standard, I think it's called a VESA mount. And then they showed the normal stand that you can buy with the monitor, and it's priced at $999. Which,
How appropriate that I literally just opened on Reddit a meme of what you can buy for $1,000. The Apple
yeah, I think
stand.
it's still the
5
front page
things.
of dank memes right now. But
So why are you defending it?
so here's why I'm defending it. Apple framed what they're doing incorrectly. It's not that you're buying a monitor and then you buy a separate stand for $999. The monitor itself is $6,000, which, if you compare it to what others are offering, is not like Apple's offering is less than what other companies have for that particular type of display. Now, Apple is also charging you $1,000 less if you don't want the stand with it. And if they framed it that way, no one would be shitting themselves over this.
Yeah, well, they fucked up.
But the fact that they decided to frame it as plus $999, you get the stand with it. They framed it as, here's this add-on, and everyone's like, well, that add-on's expensive, whereas it should have been, well, here's a way you can discount this obnoxious price.
Can I just say, it also doesn't help that the stand looks like the flimsiest, fucking, most useless thing ever.
Yeah, they gotta stick to that Apple design language, which is basically just, it has to be thin and non-existent.
Well, it certainly doesn't look worth $1,000 is kind of the problem.
So the other thing that bothers me is the people who are the most salty are the people who weren't going to buy this anyway.
No one was going to buy this.
Only companies were going to buy this.
Well, yeah, they were going to buy whatever Apple put out next anyways, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
which
true.
is why I don't...
Apple tryhard's always going to buy what Apple puts out.
But like, I don't actually know anyone who's bought a Mac Pro before or anyone who's going to, but I know a ton of people who are memeing about it, despite the fact they weren't going to buy it even if it was only $1,000 for the whole monitor. So I think this is an controversy because it really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Now everything costs too much fucking money. Fucking Apple.
Yeah,
it's Apple. You got to pay the Apple tax.
And their exclusivity. Can't play nice with others. That's what I don't like.
You want to know why? Because it's against the capitalist way to do something that would cause you to lose money. They sit there and they're like, we don't know how Microsoft is doing it, but we want keep us away from that.
Yeah, I don't. It's just scummy. I just don't like it.
Hard to agree.
Whatever makes the money, dude.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Whether it means selling $1,000 stand or adding 200 Pokemon to your game, whatever makes the money.
True.
All right, are we done with normal shit? Can I move on to the stuff that no one wants to talk about now?
What do you mean? I'd rather talk about this over Apple shit any
That's
day.
right. It's time for the real topic of the week, because this week's topic is the weeb shit. Let's get right into it. Do you want to talk about Colossal Con first, or do you want to save it for the end of the weeb shit?
Let's save it for the end, because it'll kind of lead into weeks.
All right, cool. So I'll open with the bad news. So we got word last night, mostly because I think the new Shonen Jump comes out tomorrow, that the Food Wars manga will be ending in 3 chapters.
Good.
This is bad because it means it got canceled.
Wait,
according to fans, this arc has been absolutely terrible.
Oh.
I was reading through the Anime News Network commentaries, and everyone's saying like this is worse than Bleach. And hearing someone say that is just like,
damn,
that's real fucking bad.
Wait a minute.
So Food Wars is ending in 3 chapters, but they did confirm there will be a big announcement when the final chapter comes out. Whether it means they're going to do a 4th season to cover the remainder of the content, I doubt it. Whether it means it's going to get spun off onto a competing like manga magazine, I don't know. We'll tell you in 3 weeks.
What about a movie just to end it?
I mean, they can't wrap up the last arc and handle the current arc in just a movie.
Yeah, but what if you just say fuck this last arc? It sucks. So let's just do the movie to finish off that last season.
Because the current season's ending isn't really that fulfilling.
The current season's
damn.
Like, you know how we ended? We ended in the middle of a tournament.
Yeah, put out a movie and finish the tournament.
Yeah, just ending at the end of that tournament is not going to get anyone satisfied.
Well, fucking rewrite it, because clearly no one thinks it's good.
Well, look, if no one rewrites and makes movies for canceled manga, so that's
they should.
True.
That's why I doubt it's going to be an anime project. If it is, I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We'll know about the fate of Food Wars in 3 weeks. But the week before we know about that, we're getting Kakegurui Season 2 on Netflix. So for anyone who hasn't sailed the 7 seas to watch it, like yours truly, you will be able to legitimately watch it in 8 different languages in 2 weeks. This is my ad for Netflix, who is
Perfect.
not our sponsor
Just
for this week.
So a month after that is when me and Val will finally get to watch it and actually catch up.
It's an experience. Actually, no, we all watched episode 1 at
that's why I brought it
this
up.
weekend. Yeah. It's listeners. If you like Food Wars, give Kakegurui a chance. It doesn't have food, but it's got all the other good stuff going on.
Yeah, so Freeman showed us. We're gonna get into it in Colossal, but Freeman showed us the first episode. It was interesting enough that Val and I will probably get around to watching more of it once we finally. We are slowly working our way through Lucifer. We're like almost halfway through the second to last season of Lucifer. And
wait, how many are there total?
There's 4. We're halfway through 3.
Okay.
But we just need to finish that because we were into this for. This is a 40. I mean, these are 40-minute episodes, not 20-minute anime episodes. So we're chugging through.
Yeah. When you guys watch, is it like 1 or 2 a night, or do you like marathon?
What?
Do you do like grad? Do you actually watch like 1 a night, or is it like?
Oh no, we do like
Friday night. We watch like 5 episodes in a row.
We usually don't get through more than 4 before Val's like, "Hey, can we stop?" And usually we do like 1 or 2.
Damn, those are rookie numbers.
Well, talk to her. She gets tired of it. Hell,
No,
even
it's
with
understandable.
anime that happens.
Especially after watching 4 40-minute long episodes.
Also, SteelSeries apparently threw mad shade at Apple and put out an ad for $1,000 kickstand, and it's literally just a bent piece of metal.
Dang.
Actually, it's $10,000. $10,000.
Yeah.
Our design team felt so inspired by Apple's recent announcements and product innovations that we went back to the drawing board and came up with something completely revolutionary: the Expert Pro stand, starting at $10,000.
Now this is shit posting.
Actual shit posting.
All right.
Anyway.
Moving on. So I got 2 items of Attack on Titan controversy to go over. So I'll go in reverse chronological order. So last week, or no, it's in chronological order. So a couple weeks ago, there were rumors flying around that Studio Wit, the studio who's worked on Attack on Titan since season 1, whose first project was Attack on Titan season 1, it sounds like they will not be working on any future seasons of Attack on Titan. It is not a secret in the anime community that there was production troubles when it came to season 3. It wasn't supposed to be split into 2 halves, but they had to. And if you look at the number of animation directors needed for each episode, it was a fuck ton, which meant they had trouble getting it done with a normal team size. Something about this production, and if anyone watches this season of Attack on Titan, you'll see it's oozing with quality that comes from having 12 fucking animation directors for a single episode. But that said, they've said it's too much for their studio. It's causing too much stress. They don't want to work on this anymore. They want to work on their own projects. The director for Attack on Titan is like, leave me alone. I want to work on Kabaneri the Iron Fortress. So it sounds like Studio Wit will not be involved in any future seasons. It is worth noting that it's not always common for the animation studio to be on the production committee. For Titan, Studio Wit is not on the committee, which means they don't really have much of a say. So the question boils down to is, A, is the committee going to push for more seasons, and who would they push for? The current bet is that they would go to Production IG with it, which wouldn't be the worst. I'm just concerned with them jumping studios this late in the game, just because of how consistent Studio Wit has been with the last, 2 seasons. So we're sad to hear about that. I hope it continues, because this season has been fucking insane. I was telling Tyler, I saw last night's episode, and I nearly shit myself watching this episode. This was insane.
I hear that there's some crazy shit that looks like it's going to happen next week. Something about a subterranean room.
Yes, the basement is next week for anyone who's curious.
Oh shit.
We've been waiting for this one, and I got bets going with my buddy Dave about what's in the basement, and all my money is on a map of the world. And and he's got some crazy other theories, but that's my low to the ground theory. But moving on, we almost got Titan ruined as a simulcast experience for us here in the West. So the way Titan worked now was 3 days prior to airing, it was handed over to Funimation, and then Funimation was sub-licensing it to other platforms. So Hulu, Crunchyroll, Stars, and Showtime of various parts of the world were all licensing it from Funimation. But for 2 weeks in a row, I believe it was Stars of Saudi Arabia was, instead of withholding the episode until an hour after it aired in Japan, just putting the release materials on their service the second they received it before they had time to even subtitle it. So what they were in essence doing is leaking it for the Japanese audiences before its airtime. And Japan stepped in and said no. If anything involving releasing outside of Japan is going to jeopardize us people having to watch on a TV here, if it leaks even through your platforms, fuck it, you're cut out. So they go to Funimation and say, fine, you're going to do this. We won't give you the raws for the episode until an hour after it airs. So that way you can't possibly leak it. And Funimation's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we had an agreement. Like, if you want them to not have it, let them not have it, but don't ruin it for everyone else. And they just were like, nope. So Funimation and Crunchyroll came together and said, all right, here's what we'll do. If you're fine with it, let the two of us have it, so that way we can release it like 5 hours after it airs in Japan instead of 1, and then don't give the files out to the other sub licensees until much later. And I guess they settled on it because
Holy
last
shit.
time, 2 Sundays ago, we got Attack on Titan 8 hours after its normal release time. So everyone was flipping out because they're like, Japan, the way to fight piracy isn't like delay it indefinitely in the West. Like, that's not how you get people to not pirate it. But they just did not give a shit. Like, if it jeopardizes Japan, they don't care. Japan first.
Japan first.
Build a firewall. That was their strategy.
Build a
man.
firewall.
But now, instead of getting Attack on Titan in the middle of the afternoon, we get it like 10. So that's the price we pay for letting Stars be a shitty service.
Damn.
That's all the Attack on Titan shit. Let's get everyone involved in this discussion. I put in the Shield Bro payoff episode.
Oh,
my god, it's incredible.
thank God. You know what? Out of literally the entire show, this is a great one for us all to have watched together.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
The amount of
so listeners, we've been talking about Shield Hero on and off for every week since it started airing 21 weeks ago.
Yarp.
And the big conflict that they opened up in episode 1 has like finally come to its conclusion, and we got to just see the big fucking payoff this week. It made this whole arc worth it, even though they kind of dragged a little bit in the middle. I talked to my friend who reads the light novels, and he's like, it's like, good, they finally got there. They're done with that arc, and they can move to the next one. I'm like, done with that arc? That felt like this is what the whole story is.
The whole show.
He's like, dude, that's the first story arc. The show has jack shit to do with that. It's all about the waves and how serious they are. I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't even thinking about that.
But is that good or is that bad?
It's good. It means that the show's not going to lose steam because this arc is over. It means that
that's what I'm worrying, because I'm like, this was the unique, like, this is a pretty unique tug on the show.
I'm wondering if they're going the what's it called? Time I got reincarnated as a slime route, and just resolving this arc early, and then just having some other bullshit until it's over. And then we get that season 2 announcement.
You know what? Oh, that's fine. I thought you meant like boring.
Oh no, I meant sort of
Slime
that like
got so boring.
Well, because here's the problem with Slime. It resolved its like like when they resolved the Orc Lord arc at like episode 18.
Yep, no one cares.
That was
anymore.
a good stopping point. It didn't really need to go on much more. And then the next arc was just kind of like they rushed it. Like they cut so much shit out of the manga in order to cut it down.
Get healed? Like, okay, you're healed.
They cut out what could have been like 2 full episodes worth of content to end it early, and then instead of use the 2 episodes that they were supposed to air on TV, they put the fucking OVAs on TV for no reason. It's like, I don't know why they chose to do that, but they did, and it ruined the end of Slime. Now with Shield Hero, my question is, are the next 4 episodes strictly set up, or is there actually a small arc in the light novels that they think they could reasonably cover in 4 episodes that leaves us in a good place to be like, oh man, this is going to get those fans so thirsty for a season 2, they're going to make one.
I'm going to ballpark it as we have a lot of wrap-up to do. Like, we have a lot of power jumps to do to build up. I think it's just going to be hype. Like, hype build-up for next season, I mean.
I just hope it doesn't peter out.
That seems impossible.
It just might. I mean, we have no way of telling until it happens.
I feel like it's too popular, but according to Freeman, the anime world is like, you got 1 season? Well, fuck you. The rest is all a total crapshoot.
There's a reason the phrase season 2 never is a meme in the community. Because
what about Goblin Slayer? Is that going to get another season?
Goblin Slayer is getting a theatrical run for its OVA with no word on a second season.
That was like the
Incredible.
biggest thing in the world.
I know, right?
Yeah, see, Tim, you got to get used to this, man. All right.
So don't
get
love
used to
anime.
it.
Got
Yeah,
it.
you do get used to
You
it.
get
Don't
used
like
to it.
anything. Just enjoy what little seconds of happiness you have with anime, because it's gonna
Yeah,
be gone.
basically.
It's be happy for what you got, not upset for what you did.
And then hey, when you're
it's
in
the way
when
of
you're
anime.
when you're in a season like this where every YouTuber is like, "Hey, this season's kind of shit to average. Like, go back and watch this other good stuff like Initial D."
Like Initial D.
Deja vu.
Yo, yeah, for real though.
So we
For real though.
all right. So this is a good transition. So
That's
we're
why I
gonna move on.
did it.
So we're gonna move on to talking about Colossal Con. But just because we were talking about Initial D, I'm trying to throw like 3 ideas out at once and I can't verb. So last week, your podcast boys, me, Tyler, and guest host Luigi decided we were gonna go out and visit Tim and Val. And for a good bit of the 7-hour drive out there, we were listening to one of the Initial D albums. So we managed to cut like an hour off the drive time playing that while Tyler was driving.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I went fast.
Just helps speed things up. But yeah, as I said, we were at Colossal Con last
The
weekend.
Ohio Colossal Con at the Kalahari Water Park and Resort.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Oh my.
Fuck that joke.
It was a
Most of
fun
our
time.
team- It was a lot of fun. The Saturday over there, the entire team minus Tyler cosplayed the series Haikyuu,
Yeah,
which was
we
a
were
lot of fun. We
volleyball
got
boys.
some cool volleyball action shots at an actual volleyball court they had on site.
Sand volleyball though, so not quite perfect.
Not super authentic, but still better than just standing around doing nothing.
Yo, that'd be a
Uh,
great episode of Haikyuu to watch them try to play like beach volleyball and have to deal with like the sand, not the grip of the. That'd be awesome.
So the other show I cosplayed
Oh, no.
the weekend, Kirk was basketball. There was one arc where they wouldn't shut up about how like training on the beach is one of the like most effective ways to train. So they had them play. Imagine playing basketball without dribbling, and they played it on the sand, and that was like a whole
That
episode.
sounds neat.
Um,
I wish Haikyuu would do that.
and I'm honestly surprised they haven't played beach volleyball yet.
They're getting there. They got to finish
Yeah.
their one game a season arc.
Yeah. Well, now they have. Wasn't it like Kageyama's getting like recruited for some training camp?
Yeah, national training for kids, but
Yeah,
like,
which
what
means
does that matter?
the rest of the squad is going to do some training on their own. So
Are they
that's
gonna
where
do
we get.
vacation training at the beach?
That's where we get our.
Oh
That's
my
how we get our
God.
beach episode. Yes.
Wow.
I hope so. I don't know. I don't read the manga, so I have no
That
clue.
sucks.
What's gonna
My
happen
character's the only one who's not there.
next. Actually, that's not a lie. I do know what happens next. So the next game that's going to happen is not involving Karasuno. So you know how they played off against
Oh
was it
right.
Shiratorizawa for
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
semifinals.
yeah. We saw.
So
at the
you got to
end.
watch. Yeah. So the other match that's happening that decides who they're going to play next is was it like Nekoma versus. You know the other cosplay was there. That
Yeah,
character's team.
My favorite dude, the guy with the fucking silver hair.
The fucking
versus,
owl dude.
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
his
yeah.
name?
He's so great. Versus,
So
it's gonna
they're-
be the other team though.
Yeah. So those teams are going to face off.
Yeah,
or
but
I
they're
guess
gonna
whoever.
lose because Hinata's got to play his boy, the super antisocial kid.
Yeah, the fucking cat kid.
Yeah, gotta
Anyway.
play against them.
The cat kid.
Anyway, but back to Colossal Con. This was a unique convention for me because I'm used to going to Anime Next all the time in Atlantic City. This is my first time going to a convention where it's at a water park. So I was not. I should have been expecting everyone in swimsuits, but I wasn't expecting
Oh,
it.
there
and I
were
was-
many people in swimsuits.
Yeah, the creativity it takes to be able to cosplay from only the neck up is honestly astounding.
Yeah.
Like I saw, there was some dude walking around in a speedo, but from the neck up, he looked exactly like Solid Snake. Therefore, it was a solid cosplay.
Up. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. We
Play
spent a lot-
magic.
Yeah, well, look.
Then you played
Honestly, I was expecting a
Magic.
lot more magic. Okay,
How how do you
could have
get play
spent
more
literally
magic?
the entire day, both days in that room.
Yeah, I'm aware.
That was
I'm
Tim's game
acutely
plan.
aware.
that was my game plan. Whatever.
You fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I was talking to my buddy Dave about this. I feel bad we didn't go to more panels, but honestly, most of the
Most of them
panels
were
during the day
shit.
were like pretty crap.
A
Like-
lot of the panels were kind of garbage.
Like there was one guy doing a bunch of D&D panels, but who was it? Which one of you was the one who shared the link?
Luigi shared the link for it. I
Luigi
think.
found that the guy running a bunch of interesting D&D panels has a YouTube channel, so like what's the point? And then all the other panels were kind of just like
I mean, we went to one of the D&D panels. It was actually really good. Like I got a lot of inspiration on how to add some depth to my current characters.
Yeah, you got okay. So these guys. So the few times the party split, um, there were a few hours on Saturday and then or on Friday, and then only like 1 hour on Saturday, where me, Freeman, and Luigi played Magic in this tiny lounge room that was not built for it at all. But the convention was like, we don't have the space. We're not gonna have a gaming room. We're just gonna have use these 5 tables. And every day we were there, over half the tables were covered in Magic players, which was cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Fuck you. And then Friday night, when Val, Freeman, and Luigi went to a rave in the waves at the actual water park section of the Kalahari, me and Tyler drove 40 minutes and saw Godzilla in IMAX.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the whole trip. I ain't gonna.
Not gonna lie, I would probably agree with you.
That was the best
Outside
part.
of like actually seeing you guys, but like anything at the actual convention didn't compare to seeing fucking Godzilla in IMAX. That was
it's pretty dope, you know.
In the meantime, we were out at this convention getting smashed and going to this water park
Which-
rave and a wave pool, which was also a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm sure you guys had fun. No qualms, no comparisons here. Me and Tyler would have both probably had the least fun out of all 5 of us going to that exact thing.
Yeah, I think you guys made the right call going to see Godzilla.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that Godzilla fucking monsters fighting.
Go Godzilla. That was fucking... Sorry.
I mean, like,
Yeah, please excuse us. What did you guys? How would you guys rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10?
it's a solid 8.
So
9
it's the greatest 8 that's ever existed. Like,
so
this
this
Go.
is my thing. Like, I agree with all the what's it called? Like the Rotten Tomatoes
Yep.
scores, where it's like, oh, it's a 44, but like that user score
88.
is like an 88.
Yep.
Yeah, listen to that.
So I watched Mother's Basement's video where he kind of talked about this earlier today, and everyone has like there's the whole critic thing where all the critics are like, this is terrible, and then there's the crackback from the audience where it's like, this is actually what we want, and I'm not gonna get into that, because we play this ring around the rosy every time a movie like this comes out, where the critics are like, this sucks, and the audience is like, this is exactly what I wanted, which isn't what a critic wants. A critic like wants a bit more of a story, and somehow the critics who said we need more Godzilla in the first movie said we need more humans in this movie, which doesn't. I don't even.
It's stupid.
So part of the reason, Tyler, I said I need to buy the pre-order the Blu-ray for this. Apparently, in a lot of the stuff with like the humans on the helicarrier and stuff, I'm just calling it that. It wasn't a helicarrier. Apparently, a lot of that was reshoots after test screenings with more straight-up monster fighting didn't go over well with test screeners. And I'm like, holy shit, can you imagine if there's like a director's cut of this movie? Oh my god, it'll be even better.
Oh, yeah.
But Godzilla was fantastic. Like, it had everything I needed. Dumb human plotline, stupid environmental message of like, oh, we're destroying the planet. It's all fucking stupid. Like, none of the human shit really matters. Millie Bobby Brown does a great job as actually being like the one human who seems to be like recognizing that she's in a monster movie and kind of going like, fuck yeah, monster. Like, she's not fuck yeah, monsters. You know what I mean, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's literally a scene where she screams in a monster's face, and she's also the only living person to touch a monster. Like, her character gets it, like, that this is ridiculous. And, like, Tyler can attest, I had the biggest grin on my face in a bunch of scenes in this movie. Like, so much of this, I'm going to watch this movie at least a few more times once I get the Blu-ray. I'm not going to make Val see it in theaters, but I'm going to make her watch the Blu-ray. I'll watch the Blu-ray myself. I'm going to rewatch this movie. I am so glad my first viewing was in IMAX, because some of this shit where the screen is just full. And Tyler, I extended my hands like wings, and you can probably think of exactly what scene I'm talking about. Like, some of these scenes just fill this enormous screen, and the sound just blasts you into your chair, and it just is so incredible. Like, nothing's ever gonna match the original feeling of watching this, and that's okay. But I'm so glad that I went and saw it in IMAX. Like I said, it's the greatest 8 out of 10 because the human stuff is stupid. Like, everyone is
If
super...
I could just
Yeah.
go in and edit my own movie where I take out every scene with the humans.
See,
It's
but
done.
you need dialogue and
Godzilla
plot to
only
kind of
edit.
bring it along.
No, I don't.
But you can feel how, like, ham-fisted a lot of this is. Like, oh, Tyler, we're going to hit the storm in 2 minutes. Oh, my God. The thing that worked too well is going to react in 12 minutes. Like, there's
Yeah.
literally multiple times, Freeman, where there's an exact timer running somewhere that you know they don't keep track of.
Oh my god.
It's
All right.
so...
Lame.
But
Tyler,
then-
I'm going to describe you a recut of this movie. I want to see if this is something you'd like. So imagine it's only the monster fights, but anytime the plot happens, the codex screen from Metal Gear Solid pops on the bottom of the screen, and Snake and Colonel just discuss the actual plot in the background. Is that a
Yes.
kind of movie that would appeal to you?
Would love that cut. I would pay good money for that cut.
The only problem with that cut,
I
Tyler...
would commission the
Tyler,
voice actors.
The only problem with that cut is you lose one of the best actual jump scares in this movie.
Wait.
Remember when they're talking in front of, like, when they're in the rig near the beginning? You probably saw
Then
me
just-
literally jump in
Yeah,
my seat.
but then that's fine. Then just, I mean, I didn't get scared because I ain't no punk bitch.
Oh,
But like, I don't know, you
man.
could have that, like, in the background while they're saying, man, I don't care of these people. I don't even know their
No
names.
one cares. Yeah. So Freeman,
don't
they
even know their
actually made
names.
one amazingly good choice here. There are, outside of, like, Monarch, there's no ham-fisted bringing back the kid from Kick-Ass or anything like that.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, he's an expert because he was on the boat in the first movie. Like, no one cares. Like, the Monarch people are there because they still matter, but the main characters are all different people. And they probably will be if there ever is another movie like, well, Godzilla vs. Kong. Which, side note, this movie hypes up Godzilla vs. Kong so much. Oh my god. And they actually kind of, like, subtly play up how Kong might be able to stand up to Godzilla. Because after you even saw the 2014 Godzilla, you're like, how the fuck is Kong supposed to do anything? Like, they are already establishing lore in this movie about, like, there might be power-ups happening. Oh my god.
Power creep on these.
The power creep on King Kong.
I mean, he's gotta, because Godzilla fucking
This is gonna be
kind of crushes it in this movie. It's
can't-
fucking great.
I can't wait, but yeah, man, that was the best part about the con, though. I'm sorry.
Was leaving the con to go see a movie?
Was leaving this
I
going
mean, no,
to see that
but
movie.
like walking around and stuff was fun. But honestly, like, it's a fair
Nah,
point
man, I got yelled at.
no. Well, that was.
Time Crisis sucked.
Oh my god.
Initial
but,
D
like-
was fun.
We got to see the 8.6 live in person. That someone just
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
parked in the
seeing
front of the convention center.
An actual Toyota 86 is pretty cool.
No, but like honestly, this is part of why I'm not super hype about conventions. Because if you don't have a bunch of panels or stuff that you're planning on doing, like Saturday, we ended up going. We got up late because we all stayed out super late on Friday. We didn't get back till like 3ish, and I don't even think I slept Friday night. We got up late, went in, did our high Q photo shoot because the lounge was closed, and then just kind of sat around. We did like an hour of Magic, and then we all kind of were like, it's about to rain really hard. We're hungry. Let's leave. And then we just left and got dinner and hung out in our hotel room and played board games and watched anime, and it was
yeah.
fucking
We didn't
great.
leave. We strategically retreated,
Okay, we
Yeah,
left.
true,
Um,
true.
and we watched the greatest comedy anime of all time, Grand Blue. Which,
I wanted to tell you
Grand
guys,
Blue's pretty great.
if any of you had your windows open when you left the parking lot of that Bob Evans after we ate breakfast,
Yeah.
no joke, before we pulled out of our parking spot, I put the song on, and if any of you had your
Yes.
windows open, I would have opened my windows and blasted it in the parking lot so that you could have heard, because I
Oh
my
literally
God.
had it on as we drove past you guys. I was like, do they have their window? No. I have listened to that song numerous times.
it's such a
it's-
banger. I love that
it's-
song.
Like I said, and I said to Val right as we were driving back to the convention that day, like, a lot of the My Hero themes and a lot of other themes take a minute to kind of grow on you. A lot of the My Heroes, holy shit, take a minute. But this one, right out of the gate, yep, I could listen to this one forever. This is just an easy banger.
Oh wait, so what'd you guys do at the convention on Sunday after we left?
Honestly, we just kind of walked around a little bit. We went to, because they had the yard sale thing.
Oh
We
yeah,
walked through there. It was fucking terrible. It was so crowded. Holy shit, it's like everyone was like, fuck the dealer's room. Let's see what other junk everyone else is selling.
Because the dealer room was absolutely
Yeah, the dealer's room kind of
trash.
sucked.
I'm pretty sure. So,
It
hold
was
on. I'll say
garbage.
this and then I'll say something related to that. So, Val did buy, you know those little wallets that girls always have?
Yeah.
Yes.
She found one at the edge of a table that was a Haikyuu one, and it has Hinata and Kageyama on it.
Nice.
And she bought it, and it was $10. But
It's not bad.
gotta say, if we were gonna do something like this again, I would actually say you guys should come out here and we just all do the Kalahari together for a weekend.
That's gonna be a hard no for me, fam.
Well, you don't like water parks.
Correct.
Well, that's why fuck you. No, but like
That's my
no.
fuck.
But like honestly, the best part of this weekend wasn't really the con. It was getting to actually spend more than 5 minutes with you guys. Like the con
Yes.
was fun, but this con especially. So I have friends that we met up with there who've been there for years. And they're like, yeah, every year it gets bigger and bigger. And I'm like, Jesus, like, this is like...
It was already pretty packed when we were there.
This is
Yeah.
exactly like Anime Next in New Jersey, where they had to leave the hotel that they were at 2 years ago or 3 years ago because it was simply too packed. This is like the Kalahari gets too packed, and they just keep going anyway.
Yeah.
Like-
it was OD.
It's because it's become synonymous with that location that they can't change if they wanted to.
Also, how many locations are like that in Midwest, Northern Ohio?
There's not. They've already agreed that in either next year or the year after they're gonna have to start doing what's it called, like ticket caps.
Yep. And it makes sense because this is too many people. And it honestly hurt the enjoyment because you're crammed in there like sardines a lot of the time.
So thankfully we managed to leave before the thunderstorm started. I don't want to know what it looked like inside.
Oh, yeah,
there
on Saturday?
after it started raining.
Yeah,
and
so
everyone
for
had to
those
cram
listening,
indoors.
Saturday, the whole weekend was overall very nice, except Saturday afternoon, around 4 o'clock, a massive line of thunderstorms charged across Ohio, and we ran out of there and made it to my car? No, Tyler's car, just as the rain hit.
Just to
and-
get. Oh, we were also parked on a field of grass. We didn't want to get stuck in the mud. so
Yes,
that was,
which we saw evidence that numerous people did get stuck in the mud and even had accidents in the parking in the mud because of the fucking fields that you had to park in. Imagine if you go. Okay, so for those listening, if you go to Google Earth or Google Maps and look up the Kalahari Resort in Ohio, you will see that the main driveway comes in and it rings all the way around the building, and there are fields. Imagine every single spare inch of grass, not even parking, grass and parking lots full of cars. There was, we actually
intense.
did when we went on Saturday, we circled the entire area to be directed to the field near the entrance, and we were almost at the edge of it. It was insane how many people there were.
A lot of people.
And
I feel bad
so,
for anyone who, for some reason, was at that resort unrelated to the convention.
oh, for sure. But like Freeman said, we booked it out of there ahead of this rain, and even as the rain was starting to come, whole bunch of people standing around outside, even though the convention hall is packed already. There was a lot of people just taking pictures on rocks outside the fucking Kalahari.
We accidentally walked through the fucking smokers club as we left the building, and it was just
yeah.
there was a ton of them. Just everyone's chilling outside because there's nowhere to go inside.
Yep, and it's like, well, when the rain happened, those people either ran to their cars too, or took cover under that one like drive-up awning out front on that side, or they go inside. And it's like,
And it was
well.
probably squished inside. So
And meanwhile, we left and tried to go get dinner at Olive Garden, and Olive Garden was like, hey, it's an hour wait. So we walked across the parking lot to the fucking, what was it, Longhorn.
yeah, all these weebs at Olive Garden.
And we walked into Longhorn, and they're like, yeah, we can seat you right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, fuck you, I guess, Olive Garden. No chicken and gnocchi soup for us, unfortunately.
No, instead we had the great French onion versus loaded potato soup
potato
discussion
soup,
for
yeah.
a fucking half hour.
That was pretty good. But yeah, so I think I can summarize it by we all had a really good time, but it was made way better by the fact that we were all there hanging out. Ever since me and Val moved to Ohio, we kind of get to hang out maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and this is probably the most consecutive hanging out we've done since we moved, or since the camping trip.
Yeah.
Since the camping trip.
Well, that was forever ago.
That was. Can you guys believe that was almost 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yes, it's exactly one forever ago.
Yeah.
And now we
That's
got to
a
figure
lot
out
of-
what we're doing next.
Anyway, but that's it for the weeb shit.
And now we are actually going to move into closing in weeks because we're, well, I'm dying. Apparently on the phone earlier I sounded like I was actual death, so, and I'm sure I don't sound great, but we're probably going to play video games for like 10 minutes and then go to sleep. But yeah, we also kind of covered most of our weeks with Colossal Con and Godzilla. Do you guys have anything else for the past? Well, I guess we can talk about the past 2 weeks since we did skip last week for Friedman for your interview prep and such.
Shh, we can't disclose that information.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Oh,
guess
ha
I'll-
ha ha ha.
what?
I finally got why we can't disclose it. For a second, I was like, "What? Who?"
Anyway,
Oh.
but yeah, as we talked about the whole con, all of last week leading up to it was just making sure I had my costume prepped and ready. I know Luigi and I had this scare where
You guys
we
came
thought our
so
shit
close
was
to not getting
like
it.
we ordered our thing like 8 to 9 weeks in advance when it says it only takes 6 weeks to make and ships. I'm like, good. That gives them a month buffer so they don't fuck it up. And of course, they deliver it like 3 days before we have to leave. And mine was a little too large, so I had to figure out what I was going to do about that.
And so both of these guys had to end up wearing suspenders to keep their shorts up because they didn't have elastic in the band, and both of their
Luigi's
numbers,
won.
both of their
Yeah.
numbers started coming off because they were just slapped on. Unlike mine,
I think
and
mine
Val's.
were still on fine, but Luigi's were definitely
Luigi's
super
were
rushed.
peeling off, and Val had to
Yeah.
fabric tape the numbers back onto his uniform.
Yeah. It was a little shit show. I really don't want to order from EasyCon. Give me too much stress, even though I've ordered other costumes in the past that are like pretty decent, but honestly, it's too inconsistent with them.
Honestly, cosplay is also getting so popular; it's probably like bogging them down.
Possibly. But in terms of other stuff going on, I'm pretty sure the Overwatch event ends like tonight,
Ooh.
probably. So I'm done grinding skins there. Guild Wars 2 had a new story patch. My buddy from college, who I used to play Guild Wars 2 with, he was like, "Dude, you got to play through this story. The ending was crazy." So I'm probably gonna play through that. I don't think there's too much else going on in terms of video game land. Catching up on the anime we missed. I already told the guys while we were driving around this weekend, but I started watching Helpful Fox Senko-san, which is the fun meme show of the season. I think it's borderline creepy. I'm just gonna say
Cool.
that it's cute, but like the premise is like kind of makes me uneasy. But
That's how you know it's good.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Catch up on everything else. So like I gotta catch up on Wise Man's Grandchild, One Punch Man, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I can't wait to catch up on Friday. Apparently there was a chapter in last week's episode. In the chapter, the dude straight up yells the word Muda over and over again for 7 pages.
Oh my
And
God.
apparently they adapted that in last week's episode, so I'm
Oh
dying
my
to see
God.
what happened there. But that's about it for me.
Tyler, you got anything?
Man, I ain't doing a goddamn thing. I'm just working a lot.
Oh, sorry.
What's it
Side
called?
note. Apparently,
Wow,
Luigi.
way to steal my
No.
shit.
Only because I just noticed this on Discord. Luigi is
Yeah.
streaming right now. Card games, but not on motorcycles. Luigi just installed
Is he
Arena today. and
streaming
he is
Arena?
Streaming Arena right now.
Oh shit!
I just opened
What's his Twitch name? Is Lulu's Smash or is it?
You
Lulu's
can literally
Smash.
go on. No, you can go on the Discord.
He's attacking for about 10 billion damage right
if you
now.
click on his name in Discord and hit watch, it'll take you to his Twitch.
Watch stream? Oh my god! What deck is he playing? All right, we'll discuss this after the pod. Oh my god, he's about to win!
I just posted in chat, so you'll see it.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, he just won! Yay!
He overkilled his opponent. All right, let's get
Anyway,
this after.
yes. My weeks. Outside of the
Wow,
convention.
wow, wow,
Oh,
wow,
you weren't
wow,
done?
wow.
Shit.
No, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
No, go. Keep going, Tyler.
Nope, nope, I ain't doing nothing.
Oh, he was playing against the computer. That's why he was winning.
It's fine. It's fine. Take my spot. Yeah,
Okay.
go.
Fuck you, Tyler. Finish your.
Yeah, do it. No, do it. Go. Wuss. I'm waiting.
Tyler, you also commented on Luigi's Twitch.
Yeah,
You
of course.
I'm so sad that I haven't muted because I can't listen because I'm recording the podcast. I can't listen to him reacting that we're all watching.
Just say you're weak. Damn.
Anyway,
just do it.
fine. One cool thing is while I was cooling down on Sunday after relaxing a little after the long con weekend, I actually beat Vampire, that game I talked about a while ago. That kind of Euro janky game about becoming a vampire.
Oh yeah.
I've been low-key playing that a bunch on the side. I think I basically started since the last podcast we recorded. But it's definitely got issues. And I don't know if I don't think I'd be happy with it full price. There's a lot of shit going on, but it's one of those games where you have to like perfectly never ever do an asshole move. Like it's okay, so one premise of the game is you have these districts with people in them, and if you feast on a single named character, like with your vampire powers, you immediately can't get the best ending. Immediately.
Really?
So I didn't do it all game. Thankfully, I was still able to beat it because I didn't need the XP you get, because you literally get bunches of XP for feeding on people. Thankfully, I was still fine because I only had like 3 powers and it was more than enough to die a bunch of times but still beat the game. But it's so, like, it's one of those games where the overall theme is ruined because it's like, I will never hurt a fly, and then you're walking between destinations where hunters jump you, and you just have to immediately slaughter.
Hump you.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I know. Well, that's kind of low-key part of the game too. And then you just slaughter them, and you can drink blood like it's no problem at all. But then at the end of the game, your character is like, oh my god. Oh, also, by the way, at the beginning of the game, you meet a vampire lady who saves your life. And then about a third of the way through the game, all of a sudden you start calling her my love. And just low-key, your character acts like he's madly in love with her. But it's never been really established that you have any meaningful connection at all. It's very funny. But, like, you go to her, and as part of the good ending, I got the dialogue of, I've managed to control my hunger since I killed my own sister at the very start of the game. And it's like, but while I was literally walking here, I feasted on, like, 20 vampire hunters and 10 vampire zombie dudes and even a straight vampire. And I was like,
No, that game sounds lame.
The gameplay is fun. You just can't think about it too hard. Like, it's kind of cool because you investigate, like, you follow clues. Part of it is actually neat is you can drink blood of anyone at any time, but if they're sick, they give you less XP because their blood sucks. And if you find out more about them and do, like, investigations into each character, their blood becomes more valuable. So you have to, it's like, oh, I know more about you and I sympathize with you, but I'm also trying to do this so I can drink more of your blood and get more experience.
Oh god.
But I don't think I'll ever play it again. It was worth the time and sale money that I spent on it. And if you can buy it on sale, it's honestly kind of neat. But it's a game that desperately needed a fast travel system. It's also really unclear about some stuff. The powers, it's one of those games where you wish you could try out powers, because some of them just seem like shit. I just had to guess at what ones seemed good. And some of the boss fights, I actually tweeted about one of them. One of the boss fights was so BS that I ended up just cheesing it, running around the arena until my ult came back and just popping it on the boss like 3 times. And I'm like, this is fun. This is enjoyable.
Damn.
But overall, like I said, if you have it on sale, I'm glad I didn't Let's Play it. I needed to do a lot of this off camera. There was a lot of just dumb grinding-y stuff. Other than that, though, I'm kind of looking for a game to actually play now. I'm not really sure what I should try to sink my teeth into. I kind of gave up on Third Age on the Xbox. Maybe I should go back to that. Or maybe if Tyler sends me Pokemon, I'll be playing Heart Gold on in my free time now.
Yeah, it's a good game. Good
Hell,
game.
I wouldn't mind playing it when I'm walking around on my break at
Except
work.
Red is like piss easy. So
Don't be that guy who plays Pokemon at the office.
What?
why not?
Says the guy who plays Pokemon. At
Okay,
the
yeah.
office.
First off, I knew that was you already, fucking liar. And also,
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah.
anyone in my office gives a shit about what each other does during breaks. So,
Don't sink to my level, Tim.
oh my god, I'll happily play Pokemon on my break instead of watching YouTube videos of Magic for the millionth time. Other than that, still want to go see Endgame again in theaters. Funny as that is.
Jesus.
I don't know. I kind of just want to see it again, but it's kind of
We're
feeling
so
like it's
close
too
to
late.
beating Avatar in the box office. We're
It's
almost
not
there.
gonna happen.
It's good. It might happen.
It's like 70 million away, and it earned less than 10 million this weekend.
Damn.
Damn it.
It's not
All right,
gonna
Tim,
make
you got to go see it. And you
Gotta
bring Belle with
contribute.
you.
Gotta contribute.
Avatar sucked too.
But apparently D&D
Yeah.
is finally supposed to make a comeback this week. So hey,
Oh yeah.
that's good.
Supposedly.
But yeah, so we're gonna end it here because man, we dragged on for a hot minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Wait.
But yeah, we should be back next week. Fingers crossed. I don't know how much. Oh yeah, I'm also not gonna have much free time this weekend because I gotta go to work over the weekend. Because fuck
Rip.
me.
Oh.
But thank you all so much for listening. My name is Timpedia,
I'm Friedman.
And just Tyler.
and this has been the TNT podcast, and we'll catch you guys next week. See you later.